Hey guys, another very unorganized Wednesday. That's what we're about. Hey Stuart. Sorry, this didn't go up till last minute. And hey Bill. What's the go with the spider bite? Did you go and get a biopsy or something on it? Did you get a swab? Ross, good day. Team Biscuits, hello. The antibiotics won't work unless they know exactly what they're treating. So yeah, I hope they get it sorted. Look at my arm, which is terrible, but it's not. That's what I got left. So I'm doing okay. Hey, Fridge. Okay, today's life-shattering. I didn't start early. I was sort of on time. This way. Tim Applewood, good day. Yeah, once they got the test back and they get you the right antibiotics, you'll come up. It'll clear up. I think I tried a few goes at it before I did. Today's life-shattering is helpful information broadcast is don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. There you go. I'll say it again a bit later on in case anyone missed out, but don't buy it. There you go. That goes for just about everyone here, I think. Oh yeah, it goes for Dan's shed. And I believe it might go for Ross Nesbitt. Good morning, James. Anyway, it's a sickness and I don't know what you do about it. There you go. Don't have a solution. Don't buy what? Anything. In particular, a traction engine project you don't need and you weren't considering a week ago. There you go. We need to have a talk about this. I don't know if anyone really realises exactly how much work is in a steam engine. Whether it's something simple that's you built up, got going, which is really nice, or something that you've bought that needs a bit of work doing to it, or something that you bought in perfect condition that needs some maintenance. But I don't know what you do about it. There's a colossal amount of work in getting an engine that's not going of any prototype anyway up and running to the stage that you're happy with it. And I don't know how people do it. I really don't. You look in Old Glory magazine, or you look online, or you look in steam engine groups on Facebook, or you look at YouTube videos of these beautifully restored, beautifully maintained, shiny, polished brush, gloss painted, pinstriped, and clean steam engines that an individual owns, and rallies regularly. Hi, David. Hi, Kevin. And it allows you to a false sense of security. It's sort of a con. It's one of the big cons of life, because any engine that you have will require probably, I don't know how many hours a week to polish it and keep it clean once you've got it clean. And getting it clean is the difficult bit. I don't know what you do about it. I haven't got a clue. I own a roller, and it's all looks something like this. I mean, even these little bits that have taken off and wiped them 10 times and carted them around a rag for a week. Rub your fingers over them and you're black again. Right? I don't know how to keep these shiny. I don't know how you do this, right? And if anyone thinks it's easy, if you're thinking that those two 2-inch ploughing engines, well, I'm not talking to anyone in particular, but the half-built 2-inch Fowler ploughing engines that look like a really awesome project will be something that will be finished in your lifetime. Good luck. But and I have a roller that's pretty tidy. Fowler, everyone knows that, I guess. There's no point sort of telling you about it. Right. Excellent. Hey, Journeyman Roundy. Right. I've got one of these. Hey, Chirpy. I've got the rest of it too, not just the plate, which is really nice. That bit's clean, but it's not as clean as it could be. And yeah, I don't know why it's clean, because I didn't clean it. And I don't know how it's still shiny. But it's reasonably tidy. I mean, the boiler's good. Mechanically, it's okay. It's got the Fowler rattle. I don't know how to even fix that, if you can fix it, but obviously people do fix it because there are engines around that don't have it. By by the Fowler rattle, I mean the low range gear spline that's completely worn out and makes a terrible grinding noise whenever it's engaged. I don't know how you fix that. But other than that, it's kind of serviceable roller. And we went and pulled logs with it in the weekend. And we run up and down, and Dan even got off with a shovel and a rake hoe and flattened out some potholes on the road. And we rolled them, and we went backwards and forwards, and we steamed it up, and we got home before dark and put it to bed. And it's not, operationally, it's all right, really. It's really not terrible. But it's a long way off perfect, And it's without building or restoring anything else. It's a full-time job just to get it somewhere near clean and near shiny and near presentable. I don't know how people do it. Don't know. It's either a working engine or a show engine. Well, it shouldn't. There should be a happy medium somewhere. It's easy to keep clean once it's nice and shiny. Maybe it is. Never had much luck with that. but maybe you're right. Yeah, you're a mug if you believe any of that. Just go and buy it. Just do it. But be prepared to spend some time on it. And a lot more time than you ever anticipated. That's all pretty much bullshit. Sorry. There's a bleep that out or whatever, but yeah. Honestly, the things just look. A miniature would probably be better or easier or nicer. I don't really believe that, but it could be. It's certainly a lot harder to clean. There are a lot more fiddly bits on it, and enough fiddly bits on a full size engine. I don't even know where to start. And steam oil. If there's stuff called steam oil, right? It's 480 weight or 640 weight or whatever it is, which is tallow based, or it's gear oil cut with tallow, which is awesome stuff. But nothing dissolves it, right? Once it's coated on everything and cooled off, it's there. And you get a hot engine and you can't wipe it off. It just comes back to about the consistency of honey instead of peanut butter. And if you try and steam clean it or hose it off or degrease it or anything else, it's still there. Anyway, this is for everyone else's benefit because Dan already knows about this stuff. But what you get is about a 2-inch, or you get a comfortable film of it all over everything, and even on nice paint, I don't think you can wipe it off. Brake cleaner can probably break it down, but breaks everything else down too. But yeah, I'm not sure the brake clean's the answer. I think we've tried all that. I think Dan's tried everything he possibly can. It needs lots of heat and it needs some pressure when it gets hot. So steam cleaning is really the only answer off a hot surface. Anyway, I went and spent the weekend on the roller with Dan, and we had an awesome time. And a huge thanks to Dan for his hospitality because he did all the work, and I was just there as a visitor, and I sort of tagged along. And I really appreciate his enthusiasm and his capacity for hard work, etc., etc., etc. Because probably if I'd gone down there on my own and there was no one else there, the roller wouldn't have got steamed. Who didn't break any steam pipes? Anyway, we'll get to that. We had a good weekend, but when you look at it and you come home and you look at roller videos on YouTube, or you look at them in magazines, or you look at them in traction engine groups, honestly, there's so much work, like so much work to get it tidy. And I don't have a clue where to even start with it, or how people who actually own them and run them keep them, or get them looking even as nice as they do, because there's so much work involved. But yeah, it's not without its fun. We were getting pretty tired by Monday night, which was fair enough because we had a big day and we'd hauled some logs. And I let go of the winch rope just a fraction too quickly, and hook dropped on the injector pipe and pulled it around sideways and cracked the coupling nut off the injector. Nothing seriously badly wrong with it, and it's nothing that a couple of hours work won't fix when it's cold. But nicer than a clean engine. I was doing awesome things and having fun. We had fun, yes, we did. We really did. But a clean engine would be kind of one of those things I'd like. Anyway, that was one of the things that happened. And then, of course, there's no injector and very little water in the tank. And we got it home, and neither one of us didn't check the water, or the water went somewhere, or there's a gland leak on the snifting valve tap. Like the packing nut on the snifting valve tap is leaking quite badly, and the couple of times we moved it, we may have got rid of a lot of water pretty quickly. Anyway, I don't think it all went out there. And looked in the gauge glass after we parked it and run into the Ferguson tractor and all that sort of crap. And there was no water in it, so that was a bit of a panic. I don't know if you know much about steam engines, but that gets a bit panicky. But no harm done this time. And that's just the way that the day turns out. It's either, yeah. And hey, Paul. Anyway, we didn't drop a plug or anything. Dropping the plug would have really wrecked our week. But yes, we've done things this last weekend that hadn't been done with that engine for years. That's right. Probably since, if at all, but probably since the 30s and 40s when it was last at work. Anyway, we had fun, but it's just seriously, it's a crazy thing to undertake. Just be aware if you're going to buy a steam engine and restore one or build one or anything that's of a size suitable to do any work, that geez, you're in for some work. Hey, Jim Burns, good day. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. What else happened this week? We had our gripe about dirty steam engines. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, there's zero you can do about it. You just don't park it beside a clean one. That's about it. That's the kind of the answer, I guess, is not, don't park it beside a clean one. It's not. It's been a bit miserable. It was a cloudy weekend. I think we got a few showers. I don't think it was terribly bad at Grafton. It was a bit damp. We got a canopy on the roller now anyway. Dan, you probably can. Whether that actually happens, I don't know. But it seems like a really good theory, and I appreciate you putting it across. The key to shiny is polish it, but the key to shiny is to get rid of the oil first, and the old oil, and to have surfaces that are easy to clean. And we haven't achieved either of those. Just looking at the cladding on the sides of the cylinder when I took all these drain cocks off last night, or yesterday morning, and It's got some awful brush marks in it. It's pretty unshiny. Clean it at the end of the day, don't go straight to drinking. That sounds like a good theory too. I like theories. What am I needing to polish? About 14 tonne of steel, cast iron and brass. Stuart is wrong. I said it was an interesting theory. I didn't say it was wrong. But yeah, there was a carton disappeared at that point. No, we don't wait till after. It was pretty hot, dry, dusty work. But anyway, it's fun. And we had an awesome time. Like, we really had an awesome weekend. I really appreciate the way people step out to make things happen. And I've had a great weekend, and it's just what I needed, really, to be honest. Yes, I'm sore. That's a valid point, Chirpy. Yes, I'm sore, and I reckon Dan's sore too. Like, because we both worked all week, and travelled half the night. Well, I travelled half the night to get to his place, and then we did a few little jobs. We pulled the front wheels off the Bedford truck and discovered that probably we were best just to put them back on and pretend we didn't. So we did that. What else did we do? I'm sure there were things we could do. We did. Don't know what we did Sunday. We did some stuff. Monday we winched logs. It's rated as what we're working on, 14 tonnes. Fowler DNA roller. Jim, there's the nameplate off it. If you Google John Fowler and Co 16771, you'll know exactly what we're looking at. Cooked some bush tucker. Yeah, it's steak on the fire. Left the ashpan damper open and the fire hole door open for too long while I was lighting a fire on the side of the verge there, and to cook dinner, and the thing blew off at 200 psi, so we had to blow it down and pump some water in it pretty seriously, which probably contributes to us running out of water. It wasn't Himalayan possum, no. It was steak, I think, and I guess it was the cow variety. I don't think it was vegetarian. It needed a good blow down anyway, but we had a good day. Got some videos. There's some videos on Discord and a few on Facebook. It may have been Yowie. It's definitely Yowie country. Anyway, it was pretty good. And there's only one Yowie, and I don't think that any of your friends would talk to you ever if it got out that you were the person responsible. No, we're not wanting a world-class restoration job for the special antique. We're wanting An engine that's easy to keep clean. That's what we want. The gamey taste you get with the howie meat. Anyway, Tuesday I kind of didn't get up as early as I could have. I was up at 6 and I heard Dan go and I heard Sam go, and I may have not got up for a little bit longer on Tuesday, and I broke up that pallet, Dan. Chopped all the screws off nice and neat, and it's all leaning up against the carport there. So you'll find that. Yeah, it wasn't 5 o'clock, I don't think. And I had a bit of a clean up and blew the shed out, and put a few tools away and stuff like that, and pulled these drain cocks off and brought them with us. Hey, Raymond. So you got a bit of a head start on the weekend. I don't know if it was very much, but you have got a bit of a head start on the weekend. This weekend, of course, Dan's moving a stationary steam engine that he's bought because everyone needs another steam engine. Or dismantling it, ready to move it, because everyone needs another steam engine. And this whole pep talk hasn't sunk in at all, obviously, because it's, yeah, no one's listening. No one. Are there lessons to be learned from this? Haven't got a clue. Never noticed. Anyway, not even a bit. The trouble with boiling parts in degreaser, and that's an awesome idea, is that we haven't got a pot big enough. I'm struggling with this as a concept. Sorry. I think I've just wasted my breath there for about half an hour, and I apologise for that, guys. Don't listen. Yeah, don't make my roller into a traction engine. I want people to still talk to me. And I like rollers. I really do like rollers. I think that I can see your point of view that having 2 rollers is probably too many. But that's an ongoing conversation, and I understand your viewpoint on that, but I would really like people to keep talking to me. And if I posted the front end of my roller on Facebook Marketplace, trying to sell it to someone, people would get upset. Yeah, where could one obtain steam to clean a steam engine? Yeah, we're working on that. Have we squashed anything? That's a sore point. We don't talk about that, Team Biscuits. We don't talk about that. here in the States, is a reasonable price we can obtain a pressure washer. Yes, well, we have a pressure washer. The problem is with the pressure washers, it's got to be hot because steam oil, by its very nature, doesn't remove from anything that's not hot. A cartridge is probably a really good idea, but a lance that off the steam boiler at some point with a flexible hose is really the answer, and we will get there. It's just all things that need to be done. All things that need to be done, and it's an ongoing thing. So at some point we will. I mean, the portable's already got a hose attached, and there is a probably wouldn't take much to get one attached to the roller too, and then we need a steam lance to. Yes, we can. You made a lance? Okay, no one told me that. But it's not even the money, Ross. And the money's spent. I mean, we're too big on the money. We've gone too far to back out there, right? Um, we're way past worrying about the money because there isn't any. So you just deal with it. But I think you're right, Dan. There is no money, but the time that's where the grievance is, because yes, it would be awesome to have more time, but neither of us have got it, because if we start getting more time, well, we stop getting less money, and we're working on bare minimums anyway with steam engines. So I don't know. Anyone want to buy a steamroller? That's all I'm saying. It's only a little one. Um, it's not a very big. It's not a very big steamroller. Okay, Dan, I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I don't care. I can keep it. And Dan's gone all over the place and managed to find some actual sponsorship for an event at the end of July, which is the Glenray Steam Fest, which means that the roller's going there, but it means the roller, all these bits that are on the bench that belong to the roller, have got to go back on it. That's where we're at. Or we've got to be a bit better. So let's have a look at some of these bits anyway while we're at it. Is the roller increasing in value? I hope so. We don't run out of water too many times, or drop too many fusible plugs, or get it too hot, or buckle too many crown stays, or get it bogged too many times, or break too many crankshafts or axles. I would like to think that it's probably increasing in value. There we go. That's probably as much of a lift as a myth as the rest of the conversation we've had. Jim Bird says it's a good investment. Thanks. Yeah, it's a good investment. I think it might be a reasonable investment, but that aside, I intend to have a lot of fun with it before I move it on. All these bits here, right, are ugly. There's cause to believe that these particular parts here are genuine Fowler. I don't know if they are or not, but they're all the same, right? Well, they look all the same. So you would think, well, maybe they come off the engine, so they might be genuine parts. They might not be off this engine, I haven't had a real good scratch at them and look for numbers, but I'm sure there's numbers on them somewhere. Probably on the flange usually. I haven't managed to see them. I'm going to run them through the degreaser and or through the ultrasonic at some point. It says if they're all the same, they might not be fouler. That's a very valid point. If you look at, is it steam traction? No, it's there's a crowd in England who are restoring a Fowler locomotive, who post videos fairly regularly. And if you watch those videos, you will discover that Fowler stuff the steam workshop, yeah, you will discover that the Fowler stuff is very rarely all the same. They've got one engine that's made in Australia, and one side of the engine is made in Australia, and one side is made in the UK, and they've all got different threads and things on them. Don't get them mixed up. But you would assume if you were making these in a factory, right, and you were producing, what, 40 or 50 engines for the month of March in 1926, that you would have some sort of mass production going to get these all done, and you'd have a reamer or some sort of a system, probably a rose cutter or something to put these in here, in old-fashioned terms, to put these holes in these, and they'd all be somewhere near the same, right? They're not even close to the same. This one here, which I made it to fit, right, this is pretty nice. It sticks out the right amount, it fits beautifully, it's a nice firm fit, right? We've got to make a little washer on there to sit on this edge here, and then we're going to put a spring washer and a nut on it, and that job's done. Right, it's got a slot in it there, which gives you steam or no steam. Yeah. And that one works. This one here probably sort of almost has the same taper in it. Right, it's a little bit loose at the top. But with a reamer made the same angle as these, I can clean this out and this will poke through the right amount. So it's the same as the other. See, this one's got a lot more gap at the top than this one does. I don't know if you see that. So that's all right. This one here is worse again. There's sort of none of the bottom bit sticking out at all there. And the hole there doesn't line up at all in the middle. And they've got a fair bit of gap here. So this one could be reamed and it could go through, what, at least another 1/8 of an inch would be nice. Probably a little bit more. So just careful as we do it and ream that out. And fit them to match. Those three are great. This one's too deep. Right? Fractionally. It's not excessive. I mean, it's not touching down there on the curve yet. It's still on the taper, but it should be back there, not up there. It should be back there. And it's loose in this end here. So you probably can't see that on camera, but there's a fair bit of wobble there. So this one's a different taper. Not helpful. So what do? Do I make up another one of these? I've got enough brass, I think, to do it. And match it to this one, right? Or do I leave it and say, hey, that one's going to leak a bit, which is probably really, to be honest, how it was when it left the factory, because when you look at all these, they're all a bit loose in this one. There isn't one of these old plugs that actually fit it. And probably it was like that when it was new, and it's just a bit loose because the ream it's moved in the chuck or something, and the ream has got to be bigger at the bottom, or the cutter. So do you fix it properly, i.e. make a new one, or B, set this up and bore it and make a new inner and silver solder it in and clean up the ends and make them all the same? Or do you C, just leave it with a bit of a squeaky rattle in there and hope it don't leak too much? And not bother. Or C, cut the front off and make it a traction engine, which you don't do because it's not a very nice thing to do, and it doesn't sit well with the rest of the community. I mean, I don't know if you know what sort of wrath you're going to have. It's all right having an engine that hasn't been restored yet and doing that to it, I guess. But no, we had a discussion about another roller, and you know how it is. These things, they tend to multiply. That's the problem. And I mean, it's not like there's enough engines kicking around. Foul at the back, barrel at the front. Yeah, something like that. Well, the truth is, right, and I don't know if anyone's picked this up, but we sort of it's a known fact that Fowler 16771 is half Aveling and Porter anyway, right? All the rolls on it are Aveling and Porter, and quite a lot of the other bits. So there we go. Because in the 30s or somewhere around there, in the 20s or 30s, someone either rolled it off a bridge or turned it upside down a culvert or ran it into something and broke all the front. Rolled the front and holy crap. Anyway, and the front end, like all the headstock on the front rolls has all been brazed up anyway, and at some point during its life it got Aveling front rolls and Aveling back rolls, and it was sort of a half a job done in some workshop in New South Wales as part of its working life, and it's been kept as that, which is not terrible because its sister engine, which is 16772, ended up a lot worse. It had a lot of the plates and things chopped off it as well, and everyone found the bits for that. So yeah, it's sort of about what keeps it running. But if you're going to do these properly, right, and we're doing them properly because they're starting to look pretty good. With new bits and the proper polish and get them looking sort of half decent. we might as well start off with 4 of them that don't actually leak. I think it'd be very good. But anyway. So I'll make up a reamer at this setting and I'll get these 3 right, and we might make a new piece with this one. Or we might just say that it's good enough. I don't know. This is what the last owner did to it, right? This is what it had. This is the bracket system, right? This is really nice. It's sort of quality. And it's all attached here with a 1/4-inch bolt through a hexagon. With another cross hole, because obviously someone drilled them and attached these and then decided that they were the wrong way around and they were all closed when they should have been open, and has drilled another hole to match up and tapped the piece of steel and put a 1/4-inch bolt in it, and then put these in here, and they're either punched in or pressed in, or I think they could be riveted over, right? But this comes loose every time you use it, and it's really very awful. The short ones look something like this. So they bend over. They've all got loose pins in them. And I think these are just pinned over, but they're loose. And I'm black again on account of it being covered in steam oil. There's just a split pin that holds them. It's on here. So all these were put together with about a handful of assorted washers that are somewhere as a collective between 3/8 and 5/8, and all different thicknesses and diameters. And some of them are flat and some of them are sort of got a bell in them where they got tight. And none of them had enough washers on them to keep anything sort of half tight. And like this all had the levers going through, and the levers really aren't terrible. They're all right. And then had washers on it and split pins. And all these bits are really substandard. So I think if we're fixing these bits, we're going to fix them properly. That's where we go. So I made some patterns, and these are the new levers. These are the patterns for the new levers. Right. I've actually done these in 2 halves with a bit of draft on them and all those sort of things, and spots for dowel pins, which we'll get at some point. And I'm going to go up there and cast those and broach a square hole in there and tap these, I think. And screw some pins in them and pin them over so they don't come loose. Job's done. The short ones are going to be basically the same thing, but they should be really nice. And when we get all that together, we're going to go and bolt them all on, and hopefully it'll all work. And yes, we're enjoying it, and we're operating it as it is. But as we do work on it, it's very nice to get that particular bit of work up to standard, because that's what happened last time it got restored, is that none of it was brought up to standard. Everyone said, oh, it'll be right, it's a working roller, that's the way we're going to restore it, which is code for we're going to shortcut everything. No gripe with the previous owners or restorers, because they've done an amazing job to get the thing back in steam. They really have. And it was restored 96, 97, and it's pushing 30 years ago. So it's done really well to be in the condition it's in. But I would like to get all this up and running and nice again. And somewhere near usable. Right. Big job. Gee, £300 a day. Ton of firewood's about $130. Water is totally priceless, and I feel bad using any of it, but hopefully it keeps raining. £300 a day seems a bit extravagant. I don't know what is this? Count it out, right? Case of beer, $50, right? Steak dinner, probably another $50 current day, sort of time. About a ton and a half of water, rainwater. We're actively trying to get more water receptacles and more tanks around the place and better gutters. So that's happening. Thanks to Dan. Probably less than half a ton of firewood, something like that, to run the thing round for a day. Don't know, half a ton of firewood sounds about right. A bit more maybe. And firewood's $130 a ute load, $150 a ute load, something like that. Oil and stuff is minimal, really. I got 20 litres of oil, which is probably going to last 3 lifetimes. Box of ibuprofen's about $6 or something. Engines in Australia never ever used coal, and it was especially road engines, and they burnt whatever was laying beside the road, and generally that's kind of how it happens. Most of these engines, mine's fitted with a basket on the back. Which is for firewood basically, and that's a colonial style fitting that you only really find on Australian engines. It's fairly common on most Australian engines because no one was delivering coal 40 or 50 miles along a dirt road in a municipal backwater to an engine that was making roads. That just wasn't economically viable. So you had a water lifter and you worked water out of the creek if you possibly could, and you were a bit particular about which creeks, I imagine, because that doesn't sound like fun at all. And you burnt firewood that was beside the road. So the thing, I'm not going to say that it depends on the quality of the wood, and it depends on the quality of the water. But they stay cleaner, yeah, probably they do. We don't get you probably get more ash, but you don't get as much clinker and crap probably either. Now here's my phone, which has been plugged in for an hour. And it's got 1% on it. So, yes, I was going to sort of show some pictures. But I think my phone's going to go flat. But to give us some idea, that's what we're talking about. There's Dan cooking dinner with the secret ingredient. This fowler looks a lot tidier in the photograph than it probably actually is, but anyway. That's Dan with a beer. And of course my phone's shutting down. So that was the only photo you're going to get. Not very impressed with this phone. Anyway. He was actually cooking, so the beer is excusable. I don't think it was even real beer. It was probably 0% Carlton or something, and you can't really call that real beer on a good day. Did we camp out too? No. Den doesn't function if he doesn't spend a couple of nights a week in bed with his wife, which is fair enough. And I slept on the sofa in the garage. So that was our weekend. I think we did all right. I'm not complaining about it in any way, shape or form, except that I've got a roller I can't keep clean. And it's probably because we haven't actually done enough room clean, but enough cleaning. But it's not the only engine on the property that we can't keep clean. So you're all more than welcome to turn up one weekend and we'll go for a run. More than welcome. Glenray Timberfest last week in July. It'll be 4 or 5 engines there, something like that. 4 engines, 5 engines. I don't know. I've get lost count. Maybe they should not be clean. Yeah, they're nice if they are clean. And you end up a whole lot less dirty if they're clean because you get black. Messing around on that, everything gets black. So anyway, that's what we're thinking about at the moment. These need casting. There's a few other castings that need doing as well. So there's a trip to a foundry in our future fairly quickly, like sort of straight on. I can't get away this weekend, and Dan and Christian, I think anyway, at least, are dismantling that big stationary Roby to move it down to the shed. And that's awesome. More power to them. I wish I was there too. Possibly Steve. Yep, Steve ought to get his act together and come too. But I'm probably going to end up at the foundry this weekend, or I'm probably going to end up making the rest of the bits for these and putting them back together and cleaning them up. I don't know. Yeah, that might be Sunday. We put this back together and clean them up, and then Tuesday I might go to the foundry. We'll see how we go because there's a foundry day on Tuesday. We might go up there and at least get these cast and ready to machine and back on the roller. Anyway, that's what we've been doing. That was my weekend, and that's all the bits the atrocities that come with owning a steamroller, and all the things that I can't get my head around how they work, like keeping things clean. Anyway, no progress on this little engine over here in the back. None at all, really. Bit slack there. Haven't really had time to look at it. Did get a crankshaft ready to make up. What else? Hasn't there been progress on? There's no progress in putting stuff away since last week. I did find, after last week's discussion, I'll just focus that again, sorry guys. Lemon Pledge is probably the answer, to be honest. Take care in Colorado, Jim. Thanks for checking in. Steve Lang's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Steve Lang. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll announce that on here because he'll watch this afterwards. Probably. If he gets past the first 10 minutes of me ranting about dirty steam engines. Anyway, found this. Look at that. Woohoo! That's what we spent all last week's stream looking for. So, there we go. It's back in this box where it's meant to be. I knew it was here somewhere. Another little cautionary tale, right? Here's something that we need to look at. We have a cement mixer, right? And lots of offers to actually borrow a cement mixer, but someone gave Dan a cement mixer, and because this cement slab for the fitters workshop seems to be my responsibility now for some reason, I don't know how that happened, but someone said, well, organise the concrete. So here's me organising the concrete. But looking at the old light burn or something cement mixer, which is awesome, but it's got one of those tin pulleys, which are two dinner plates pressed together and spot welded in 3 spots with a bush in the middle tacked on. I'm sure you all know the sort of thing. And it's rusted around here, right, all the way around, and it's got a couple of bends and buckles in it, and the little hub's a bit ordinary, and the belt's coming through here where it sort of hangs off the side, and you can bend it like this. So, as a way of being a bit proactive about it, I thought the first thing to do is fix the cement mixer, because yes, we can rely on other people to do it, and a PTO cement mixer is not really such a good thing. They're noisy, and you've got to sit the tractor right there, and then you've got to tip them, and it's all right, but there's this little cement mixer, and it's not terrible. So I thought I'll call in at Bearing Services, BSC, in Grafton on my way back and see how much one of these pulleys are, and I just buy a pulley. They quoted me $190 Australian plus GST for one of these, and I thought, geez Louise, I'm not paying $190 for a pulley. That's just ridiculous. Last one I bought was about $45-50. I thought $25-30 even, with a little bit of selective memory loss. And it's a bit excessive. So anyway, I called in at Allied Bearings in the ring where I should usually shop, and said, how much one of them? And he says, oh, $45. And I said, plus GST? No, he says, including. So anyway, I paid $45 for it instead of 210, something like that. So, yeah, that's the difference. And I've got a decent pulley. It still needs to be bored out, so it needs to be 7/8 in there. So I'll set that up in the mill at some point and run a boring bar through it. So shop around before you buy things like that. Now, just standing here looking at things, Right, this is where it really hurts. Right, and looking at this box, I see this. It's A section pulley, but it's only 9 inches, which is probably a bit slow rather than the 10-inch one. But I already had that in stock, so if I'd come home and had a look first, that probably would have done the job quite nicely. Anyway, we got one of them, which is over-engineered to crikey, but anyway. So, got to bore that out, put it back on the cement mixer, hook the belt back up, and we've got a cement mixer. So that's a good start in the right direction. All these things are going on concurrent to keeping the steam engine rolling. And they're all part of the whole setup. Anyway, if you can't find it, you don't have it. Well, I didn't know I had it until I looked. And then there's one sitting right there. Anyway, job's done. We can get that sorted. Anyway, so that's another job for this week. Some point is to bore that pulley out to 7/8. And another job for next weekend, I'm down at Dan's, is to get the grinder out and take the old one off and put the new one on, and put the belt back on and plug it in and see if we can electrocute ourselves. Should be good. Should be good. Anyway, stupid o'clock. I've got to be up at stupid o'clock too, and we're running a bit late. I might call this a night. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for all the constructive and helpful criticism and advice and ideas, and keeping me a little bit motivated about this whole thing. I'm sorry this has been a bit of a grumble. It's not really a grumble, to be honest. It's good fun and really enjoyed it. And we had a wonderful weekend, and we did some awesome stuff that no one else has done for a long time that I know, and really enjoyed it. But still got a dirty steam engine, and everything you touch on it gets you dirty too, and there's no way around that. Anyway, be kind to each other. Go buy a steam engine, everyone. There we go. There's if you take anything from this little tirade on steam oil and stuff, is that you should absolutely buy a steam engine project and get in and fix this shit. Sorry. All right, I'm out. Be kind to each other. More soon, guys and girls, and do what you want to do. Don't even think about blaming me for anything. I'll see you anyway. I'm out.